Hey everyone, today we're here with Celia from Yacht Club Games, and we're here to talk about the release of their brand new game, which is Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. I just want to say, you guys know that I'm a huge fanboy for Shovel Knight. It's pretty much my favorite 2D platformer. So when I knew that a new series was coming out, I just couldn't wait to play. Celia was nice enough to offer us an interview today. So we're going to talk about the game a little bit. I'll throw the ball to her at first. Maybe just talk to us a general, what is Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon all about?
Yeah, so Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon is a puzzle action adventure with a dungeon crawling twist. It takes everything that we love about falling block puzzles and mashes it together with a roguelike adventure. And we have all of the cute, colorful cast of the Shovel Knight series. So we're looking forward for everyone to have a puzzling adventure.
It really sounds awesome, and off the record, I got to play it a tiny little bit so far. Can't wait to talk to all of you out there about that. For the moment, though, we're going to focus more on what the game is about. Um, First, I maybe want to just know, like, Shovel Knight obviously is a super successful 2D action platform at the base. And Yacht Club Games, like you launched Cyber Shadow this year, another 2D platformer. Where did the idea come from to make the jump to a sort of puzzle roguelike format?
So it kind of was a happenstance. So the original, I guess, story of how Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon came to be is actually kind of similar to how Cyber Shadow and that whole relationship happened. So, like Cyber Shadow, one of my colleagues was adventuring on Twitter, looking at cool games, seeing how like fun things he'd want to pick up, and he saw this developer named Vine. Well, his real name's Russell, and he was posting about a game called Puzzle Knights. And this game was close to completion. He was going to like put it out the next week and be like, okay, I'm done with it. Here you go. And it was a puzzle roguelike hybrid. And my colleague was like, wow, I've never seen that before. I love puzzle games and roguelikes. And then he brought it to the team, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, we want to play this. Contact him. Because what was really interesting about this game, besides it having the same name as, with Knight in there, a lot of the enemies were kind of similar. Like there was a skeleton, there was a ghost, there was a little blob like creature, which kind of looked like possibly a blorb. So we're like, we have to reach out and see if we could collaborate on this. And so we did. And Russell was like, heck yeah. So the core aspect of the game, no, we did not come up with. But as it grew and grew into what Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon is today, it was definitely a collaboration. So, in short, we love puzzles and roguelikes, and that's how it happened.
Oh, well, that is awesome, and hopefully everyone's gonna love the game when it comes out, which is actually next week. It's releasing on the 12th, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, that's when actually the media embargo is.
Oh,
The
that's
actual
it.
release of the game is on the 13th,
The
and it will
13th.
release on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and on Steam.
Thank you, Celia, for the correction there. I knew there was a
No problem.
12 in there somewhere for something.
Well, I'm glad you have the embargo on your mind. It makes my job easier.
That's what I got to get ready for. So it's always on the mind every time getting ready for that. So well, the next question you maybe almost answered half. I was wondering where like if there were any games that actually inspired the concept. But do you know if the developer himself had based himself off of other games or where?
So I would say that you can't just pinpoint one game and be like, that's the game. It probably, and from what we've seen from our team and for what Russell really likes as well, it's a lot of games of yesteryear, the Warrior Woods, the Puyo Puyos, the Tetris, all those good stuff. And then like the mystery dungeon games of yesteryear for roguelike. But I wouldn't say it's a specific one. It's more of a genre, like a love of a genre.
Perfect. No, and those are the best. It's when you take inspiration, but you do your own thing. You know what I think? And just like you did with the first Shovel Knight, like I'm not gonna lie. Probably why I love Shovel Knight so much is I'm a huge fan of Mega Man, and we can see
Mhm.
a lot of inspiration from that. But it definitely did its own thing, and especially the expansions were like, wow, great stuff. um, Personally, I'm also a huge fan of arcade style games, and I've
Mhm.
noticed that both. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon and Shovel Knight Dig, the upcoming game, at least the tidbits we saw in the trailer, the aesthetic is looking to shift to more of an arcadey feel to it. Is that something that was voluntary, or it sort of just happened as a circumstance of how the developers were looking at those two games?
So for that, we've always envisioned Shovel Knight as an all-encompassing franchise. And what that means is that Shovel Knight can fit into any world, whether it be in a pocket dungeon, in a can't tell you too much about the plot, but dig situation. In addition to that, I don't know, Shovel Knight could go to pizza party at a Chuck E. Cheese or something, and we'd make a game about that. So the actual aesthetic isn't something that we're like pinpointed on. Shovel Knight needs to look like this and behave like this in a certain way for his aesthetic and brand appearance. So I don't know. We thought the art looked cool. Russell and Meg, who did a lot of the pixel art on Pocket Dungeon, are talented, amazing people, and to be able to work with them and let them explore their unique style is important to us.
Oh, perfect. So it's really just it just happened, and it's Pocket, and we never know what the next iteration of sort of Shovel Knight will look like. He-
Yeah, maybe one day we'll give him a hat. I don't know. Like a little top hat on top. It'd be cute.
that'd be amazing, amazing. With Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon being a mix of a puzzler and a roguelite, there's a lot of roguelites coming out currently. What are the main elements you think that people should be looking out for to say Pocket Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon is going to be their game? Like, what are the special elements about it?
So for that, well, it's similar to roguelikes where you can, go through the levels and, you try to customize your abilities, and each character has a special ability and it's on the fly. But for saying that it's going to be like the number one, well, I would say it's not just the mechanics for a roguelike, but since it's such a mashup with a puzzler, there's a charming story to it, and there's a bunch of fun little elements that are brought from the Shovel Knight series over. I think it's an all-encompassing game, so I wouldn't say just focus on the roguelike, but it might introduce you to a new love to a new genre as well, if that
So,
makes sense.
yeah, and like I said, I've had a little bit of experience with the game, so I can definitely say that that is a true thing. There are things in there for that will attract a lot of people that even have never played a roguelite before, in my opinion. So I was wondering, for any aspiring developers out there, um, when you guys are looking for a project, what are you looking for primarily? Like, is it the developer's passion? Is it the overall feel of the project? Like, what are the things that attract you to new projects?
That's a tough question because I wouldn't say it's a particular thing. Um, is it fun? Okay, there's one. Is it fun looking? Do we want to play it ourselves? Because the Yacht Club games, like our, I guess, philosophy is that we don't just want you to love our games. We want to make games that make you love gaming. Like if you think back to your childhood, what was the first game that you played and you were like, "Yep, this is it. This is going to be a part of my life." And so that's our focus with all aspects of gaming, whether it be games we create, games we publish, or even games we just want to play. We just want to enjoy and have that magic and love of gaming reignited in our hearts. So when we're looking at things, I don't know. We liked puzzles. I didn't know that David liked puzzles until we found out about puzzle nights, which ended up being pocket dungeons. Personally, I love puzzle games. I play the heck out of them. So it just depends on the project. Like if you look at Cyber Shadow is a 2D ninja action game, and that's way different than what we're doing right now. But what I would suggest to any developer is put yourself out there. We find people on Twitter. I found my job at Yacht Club Games off Twitter. Post your stuff on Twitter because you never know who's looking. You don't know who's going to like, and it's going to be recommended to someone else. And the worst thing that could happen is someone could say, "Oh, it's not for me." But what if someone said, "Hey, let's work together on this?" So you never know.
Thank you for the great advice. I think a lot of people out there wonder how to get their stuff out there and if it's worth
Mm.
taking the time to put it on Twitter and stuff. That's awesome to hear that you actually that's how you got your job at Yacht Club Games, through Twitter. It's crazy. Social
It
media is
really
so
is.
powerful now.
It is. Yeah, I was just lurking for fun and I saw that they had posted like, we're looking to hire, like, with community and marketing. And I was like, oh, that's me. And I had interviewed with them just to say hello and see what was going and ended up being a match. So you never know. You literally never know.
That's crazy. I like just before this, I was watching the Game Awards,
Mhm.
and Bethesda in their presentation said, "We're looking for developers. Guys, show us your stuff." It's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
it's
It's like, wow, okay.
yeah, like I get asked all the time, like, how do you get a job in the gaming industry? And it's like, well, you just apply like any other job. It's really just that simple. Go to the career page, go on Twitter if they have the Twitter, see if they're advertising it, but also go on the career page on their website and then see.
It's awesome. Sort of working over to the last question I have for you, and this was one that maybe you're not really going to be able to answer, but I know that me personally, a big part of what I loved of the original Shovel Knight series was how each new expansion or DLC really pushed it in a new direction with a new feeling. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but is this something we're looking at for Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon? Like, are there already plans maybe to look at DLC or expansions in the future?
Yeah, we actually hinted at it in one of our blogs when we announced the release date. So initially, to be transparent, we were not planning on DLC. We're like, we all need naps. I need a nap. Oh man, I want a nap. But the thing is, though, is that we felt so in love with the world of Pocket Dungeon and all the cool aspects to it that we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna make some more. So we had decided that, and my colleague David gave us the go ahead to like announce it. So yeah, it's planned. I can't talk too much about it, but we'll be delving into more details in 2022.
Oh, awesome. So we won't have to wait too long. Perfect. Well, I for me that's all the questions I had. Is there anything you wanted to add that you wanted to like sort of say or be part of the video or whatnot?
Yeah, sure. If any of the viewers want to learn more about Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, you can find out on our social media pages. I'm the one posting all the stuff. We're twitter.com/yacht club games. We also post on Facebook at facebook.com/yacht club games. We're pretty brand standard on every platform, so we're Yacht Club Games. And if you want to check out our website, I have all the blogs that I mentioned earlier, and we're at www.yachtclubgames.com. Pretty easy.
Perfect. Hey, well, thank you so much, Celia, for taking time out of your super busy schedule. Because I know we're down to the wire, so you must be like back to back right now.
A little
But
bit, yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And as I said, as she just said to all of you, check out their stuff and be ready on the 13th for the release of the game. If you're into Shovel Knight, if you're into puzzlers, if you're into roguelites, take a look at this game. Trust me, we'll be able to talk more about it later, but it's something to keep your eye on.